Nle Choppa dropped his, I guess, long-awaited album called Top Shotta. Uh, yeah. What can I say about this, man? Because you know, I don't. I'll just be honest with y'all, man. I don't really get the hype behind Nle Choppa. I did before this album dropped. I understood the hype behind Nle Choppa. After this album dropped, I do not get the hype behind Nle Choppa. The reason I say that is not because he sounds like NBA YoungBoy. It's not about that. A lot of people sound like a lot of people, right? But he just hasn't really carved out like his own style to me. I don't really know who he is. I don't really know how to place him. I don't even really think his music is that impactful. Like the joint, it's either not impactful or it's not for me. Where I'm talking about like he's catering towards the young crowd, right? If you really think about it, he's very predictable as an artist. Like every other word is something that I could have came up with. Every other word sounds like something that he wrote already. It just sounds like one long rerun. Every song of his is repetitive. The Baby got the same criticism. He gets the same criticism for being repetitive from a flow standpoint. I think Nle Choppa's majority of his songs sound similar. Now, where that deviates is there's certain songs on this album where they kind of sound a little overproduced, right? It's almost like this album is a mix between a mixtape and an actual studio album, where he actually worked with quality producers. And then the other ones he kind of just took from joints that he dropped randomly on the side. I'll give you an example. Shotta Flow 5. That joint came out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I thought that was one of his best Shotta flows. He has like 5 of them. How is that possible? He has 4 songs in a row that are that say Shotta Flow. Like, if that doesn't give you the indication of what I'm talking about, of his repetitive nature, then I guess y'all just don't understand where I'm coming from. Now, the album was all over the place, not only from a content standpoint, but it just wasn't well put together. Maybe he's just not my cup of tea, but I do feel like Nle Choppa is not refined enough for me to really say he stands on his own as an artist. He just sounds too generic for me. And I'm not really with that. I'm not with the genericness. You can sound however you want to sound. You can bite whoever you want to bite, but don't sound generic. Like, sound like you have your own style, or like you're even attempting to do something different. And I don't get that from him. I think the album is decent to bad. It's more like, if I had to grade it, I would give this joint about a D. For real. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts, man, because I know you talked about Nle Choppa in the past. So I think you like him, right? Did you like this album though?
I didn't necessarily say I liked them. I think he has high potential. Like his potential is high, like to be somebody great. I wouldn't go as far as to say what you're saying in terms of he sounds generic. I think that's the word that you used. I don't quite think he sounds generic. I think he actually sounds pretty unique. His music is very action-packed, very violent. There's only 2 people in that lane, Young Boy Never Broke Again and Nle Choppa right now. And his energy, he has tons of youthful rebelliousness, anger that is on this album. And here's the thing. If you paid attention to this album like I did, it's cut 2 different ways. Like the first couple of songs are like just turn up. Like what I said was he raps at 100 miles per hour. Like he doesn't necessarily take the time to be thoughtful with his words. You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily give you meaningful content for a good chunk of the album, but towards the end, he starts to get a lot more vulnerable. He starts to get a little more touching with his words. and he talks a lot about depression. He talks a lot about paranoia, talking about love and its impact on him. So initially, I wanted to give the album a D, but as it played more and more, I said, there's meaningful songs at the bottom. And if you know his story, he's actually battling depression. He's talked about suicide a couple times. So those songs towards the end, which I know you guys are lazy, so I'm going to go ahead and do the work for you. There's a song literally called Depression, where he talks about depression. Paranoid, he talks about all the stuff that's going on in his life that's bothering him, demons that he's fighting. Watch out for the narcs. There's some meaningful stuff in there. And then also, there's a couple hits too. Like, I think Camelot's fire. I think Walk 'Em Down's pretty dope. I think Neighborhood Watch is dope. Narrow Road. So it's not horrible, but you just gotta put on a cap. You gotta say, I feel like listening to some crazy ass music right now, and if you put that cap on, it's a lot more stomachable.
I suppose. However, nah, I'm not rolling. I'm not. It's cool though. And the thing is this has nothing to do with like his content, right? Like, his content is no different to me than, again, NBA Youngboy or any other insert trap rapper. Like, his content is not the issue I have with him. It's more so he doesn't really dive into any detail at all. It's like everything is so surface level with everything he says. Everything. And it's just, I don't know, man. Maybe if he goes a little deeper, I'll feel a little different. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Because I'm not listening to it again.
Okay.